Hello, this presentation is made for EGLA Travel industry section that is developing fast since, as all businesses, also travel and tourism industries need to be focusing on CSRD, Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. And to understand who we are, there is a separate presentation, but at present, as you can see in the map, we are now working in all these green areas. So we are expanding fast as an operator for giving out information and sharing knowledge about sustainability issues. When we speak about Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive and European Sustainability Reporting Standards, we speak about something that is mandatory in growing numbers of companies. This year, 2024, it was already mandatory for big stock exchange companies. Next year it will be expanded to smaller companies, and at the latest 27 it will be covering also certain SMEs. So it's important for you to understand what it is all about. To understand the big picture, there are things that can be seen as legislative things already, like basic needs, like human well-being, like work conditions. What comes new or more with CSRD is the resource capacity, healthy ecosystems, and climate change issues. And those can be really beneficial things for tourism and travel industries when you take them right. Sustainable development was first put in words by Gro Harlem Brundtland, previous president of Iceland, in 1987, basically stating that our generation are not allowed or should not do things today that will prevent the future generations of do what they need to do and want to do. And when we think about the big picture, there is three different pillars. There are, of course, the nature, the people, and the economics. They actually combine the whole sustainable development model. The biggest questions are, how can we make this a competitive advantage? How can sustainability attract more customers to travel? Because when you do it right, they really can give you a lot of new opportunities, new ways of doing business in also travel industries. In the nutshell, CSRD is rather simple. Like said, it's three main pillars: economic sustainability, ecological sustainability, and social sustainability. It do require also information from the whole supply chain or value chain. And it can be major advantage for tourism businesses like we already experienced with the companies we're already working with. This is addition to financial reporting that will become mandatory. And there is three main elements like said. So the green part is the natural or nature environmental things. On the top, on the blue, there are the governance things, and on the left side, on the red, the social sustainability matters. And this is the framework that is then supported by the standards. And when we think about a bit more detailed of governance and strategy, for example, that is basically controlling the facts, the basics. And it's partly included in fiscal reporting already. But there is more details regarding sustainable governance, corruption prevention, sustainability strategy, research and development based on sustainability, and risk management that includes also environmental risks, both operative and natural environment. Then the natural environment is covering 4 areas: energy use and costs in different forms of energy, greenhouse gases and emissions, use of waters and their scarcity, and pollution prevention. And there are some more EU directives already affecting them, like, well, in a governance side, there's also the greenwashing directive, but for example, waste directive, transportation directives, directives for agriculture and fishing, and so on, they all affect the travel industries. It's very important to understand the big picture. If you study the 5 capitals model, you will see that we're all surrounded by the nature. So it's very important that we have a healthy ecosystem around us, that our nature is doing well, because that affects directly the human beings. And the latest studies show that not only young generations, but also the senior citizens in Europe, they see very important that you don't spoil the future, you don't spoil the nature with wrong decisions and wrong kind of behavior. So it's also a marketing and sales point. Social environment, again, covered a lot through legislation in European Union countries. That includes things like work relations, personnel and HRD, so human resource development, something called license to operate, that includes skills and functions of companies, effect on aging society, and supply chain or value chain reliability. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals by United Nations actually are very much in line with this. And when we speak about the actual standard set, European Sustainable Reporting Standards, when the directive tells what needs to be done, the standard guides how things should be done. So when we think about that, there is the 12 different European Sustainable Reporting Standards included in the package. 2 of them are like general disclosure and general enclosures that are valid to everybody. The remaining 10, they are divided in those 3 different areas, and they are depending on the materiality assessment and double materiality assessment that needs to be done to really define what is important for each company and each operation. The big picture looks like this. As you see on the left side, the cross-cutting standards, ESRS 1, ESRS 2. Then, and don't get confused, there is 5 environmental standards instead of 4 points in the directive, and 4 social standards instead of 5 points like in the directive. And the governance part is built in one standard set called G1. The basic foundation is simple. There are the main concepts: architecture, code of conduct, and also, shall we say, how to prepare everything, guidance. And ESRS specifies the information. It helps to build up the whole system. And it's very important to understand that it does not require to report everything. It only requires to report what is considered material. And for that, double materiality and materiality assessments are very important to be done. And we actually have in EGLA Travel already a training program how to do them right. So if you have interest, you can contact them. You will see the contact information on the last slide. There is ESRS 2 has 4 reporting areas. The governance, that includes the governance processes, controls, and procedures used for monitoring and managing impacts, risks, and opportunities in priority 1. Then there is the actual strategy, sustainability business management strategy. Then there are the impacts, risk, and opportunities management system and assessment, and the metrics and targets. So the standard is made so that it requires companies to focus on continuous improvement. And that's happening through setting targets, setting goals, and measuring that we really achieve those goals. All these that are marked in yellow are the points that are related and important for travel industries. And actually, even though I just wanted to highlight them, I realized that basically all of the ESRS points are valid. Because climate change related issues, they affect the whole nature. They are very important for people who travel. Pollution and related issues, water and marine resources in some countries like Finland, we also use aquatic resources. Since in Finland we don't have oceans so much or seas, but we have a lot of lakes and rivers. And we have a system that is helping everyone to learn these things. We do publish free videos, but at the same time, since many companies and many our members as well, since EGLA is a member association, they require more detailed information and more training, so we have developed a package for that. The 2 remaining environmental things are then actually biological diversity and ecosystems and related issues, and resource use and circular economy and related issues. So as you can see, circular economy is one of the most important things to, for example, cut down the waste. And there are different ways to do that right as well. Then of the social matters, I've divided these in 2 different groups. First are the workforce issues, so your own workforce and workers in the value chain. And then on the second level, you have the affected communities and consumers and end users. And since all the travel industry companies, all the tourism companies, they are involved with affected communities, and they also work with consumers and end users. Those things are very important to cover when you think about what you need to do in the travel industry. And then the last point, the number 10 standards, or if you take the ESRS 1 and 2, number 12, is the business conduct that describes the main frame, the ethics, and so on. There are a few central development areas that you need to see and understand. So there's evaluation of effects. That includes also double materiality, essential points, risk and opportunities assessment, and it needs to cover the whole value chain, stakeholders, include the due diligence studies, and also the way how we can share the information. EFRAG is the main source of the information, so that is the European, well, say unit for developing ESRS standards. And you can find more about EFRAG on their homepages. But it's also included really well in our materials, so you can see the direct links and tools used by EFRAG. Like I said, there is quite a few different directives and regulations in the European Union related to tourism. And here you can see some of them. These I just put down that were published between January to June 2024. So you see that there's many coming all the time, and that's why we keep our materials updated all the time. So there is directly to tourism, there is some for agriculture and fisheries, there are some for transportation, and in addition there is for waste management and so on. So it is a big package to understand, and that's why it's important that you do get the training and understanding right. That you don't waste your time and money on doing unnecessary things, but on the other hand, you do all the right things. And the process that we have created in EGLA is quite simple. We have now done it in quite many companies. I think at present we are one of the ones who has done most of this kind of development projects in different industries. It's now already several tens of projects we have finalized. And the results always speak the same message. This is a benefit for any company to go in, especially going in as a first or one of the first ones. And the process looks, when we do it, like this. So there's 4 different layers: the green, the yellow, the orange, and the pink. CI means continuous improvement, before you can really start the reporting. But when you follow this process, you can be almost sure that everything is done right. Well, you can be sure, actually. And there's different points about reporting, and the context is, like I said, EFRAG has built up the model how to do it right. But the main thing to understand how to start a process is to make the materiality analysis and double materiality. So what affects to your company and how your company affects to the environment. Those are the main points. But then there is also financial materiality and impacts on the environmental issues. And like mentioned, there is clear set and clear target with ESRS that all companies going through that and starting reporting should have an aim and goal to do continuous improvement. And on this, on the left side, you can see the points that should be covered when we speak about continuous improvement. And those who understand process management, quality management, see that there is the PDCA, Plan, Do, Check, Act, or Deming's Circle that is used also in this process. So if you have more information needs, here are my contacts, and also you can contact directly our travel specialists through email travel@eglaglobal.net. Thank you. We look forward to talk more.